What's going on, miners? Chump Change XD here. Hope you're all staying healthy, having a great day. As you can see, I got my crypto mining solar trailer over here, and this is the day. I got to get these Ethernets hooked up to my patch panel because I disconnected all of them when I upgraded to a Ubiquiti setup, and I just have that 5-port switch, as you can see right there, kind of dangling just to communicate with the X4Q or X16Q, whatever it is. Actually, the X41U that I have on the other side there for the winter. That way I could get into the dashboard and mess with it. But nonetheless, I don't want to buy another 24-port switch for out here, so I'm just going to have an unmanaged switch right here going, everything's going to be going to the KS0s from the backside of this patch panel, and I think I'm going to set them all up here, and they're going to run off solar for certain times during the day, probably like 10 hours a day, if that, maybe even less actually, if the solar is not enough to provide enough obviously power to all that stuff. These box miners, kind of unfortunate. I can't keep these things on, but these are all them mini Doge miners. These are the original mini Doge miners, actually, and yeah, they've been off for quite some time, but I do need to revamp this stuff. I did get my L7 out of here, so I got to take this down. This was the exhaust from the Fruit Associates kit that I had chilling on top here when I had the L7 running at the house, but you guys know my 30-cent electric rate is, it's way too much to be mining with anything. So the power in this trailer, I'm probably going to have to disconnect at some point and just, again, keep it 100% solar in here. But anyways, let's get the KS0s out here. Let's kind of revamp this stuff. Let's get this stuff all plugged back together, and then, we'll figure it out. Okay, I cleaned up, and this is actually the next day. Yesterday got away from me, and unfortunately, it's freaking raining today. So we're going to have to deal with this as we do this video, but I got to get all of the other KS0s out here. This is the original KS0 that I actually had converted to a 6-pin, which is awesome instead of a barrel jack. I really would love to do that for all my KS0 Pros, but it's just not worth the time or effort to do that, especially with the veteran miner cables. So I think what I'm going to do is just get the 240 volt PSU that can actually run off of 120. It's a 1200 watt PSU, and it's only good for 900 watts on 120, and I should be only pulling about, I think, 600 or so, maybe almost 700 watts with that unit. So it's going to be pretty close to the 80% max because I have these two units right here, as you can see, the KS0 Commemorative Edition and the original KS0 Pro. Shout out to Ice River for sending these guys over for review. These things I'm having actually plugged right into the laptop power supply, so that'll free up 2 of the spots on the PSU, which actually with everything running was about 850 watts or so, maybe a little bit less, but as you can see right now, they're pulling 191 watts from 120 volts. That's the only real downfall here. I am going to be pulling more wattage because I'm running these off of 120 instead of 240. So what I need to figure out now is, where do I put the other KS0s? Do I leave them in here, or do I put them in there? I think they look much nicer kind of here, all lined up on the rack. My only issue there is getting the power from here, which is the outlet power from the obviously the grow watt inverter here, over to where the PSU is going to sit, and then obviously disperse all that and get all the network cables from my network rack. That actually is kind of sloppily put together, but is what it is. I don't really care if this is all super neat. This is just kind of a straggler. I really only needed 10 of these things, but I hooked them all up just because. But anyways, again, I got to get this all completely neatened up at some point, but it's like the least of my worries. I got to get the cables, though, hooked up to the backside here and actually ran along the ground to each one of the KS0s. So you guys know they're not Wi-Fi. They actually need a hard connection, which is that port right there. And you can tell I put duct tape over this end plate because I would have had to modify it from that 6-pin. But nonetheless, let me go get the rest of the units. We need to clean them all up, and then I guess I can lay them all in place so we could see what looks the best and go from there. Check it out. All my KS0s, got them all, and they're all filthy as hell. Look at how much dust is on them from doing the basement. That's crazy. I didn't even notice because they were actually sitting in my stands like that, kind of tucked in a shelf. So yeah, I got to get these things all blown off, and I brought my mini compressor. This thing was like the best couple $100 I ever spent. I'm not even lying. It's perfect for just blowing stuff out. But yeah, let's clean these all out, see how gross they are. Yeah, that was quite disgusting. That's why I hate sheetrock. It gets everywhere. It doesn't matter how good you seal off whatever you're working on. All right, so we got 8 of these things right here, and I got the other 2 in there. So that's obviously equaling 10. I ran the other timer. I just set it up. It's hard to open one-handed, but there it is. It's 11:49, time recording. I got the cable going over here to an extension cable going down to the PSU that I'm going to have right there. Again, it's only good for 900 watts. So what I'm going to do is plug in all these veteran miner cables. I'm going to get everything hooked up with all the Ethernet cables and all of that. And I'm probably going to actually leave 2 of them unplugged for the time being, and we'll fire up the 6 just to see how much wattage it actually pulls, and then we will plug in the rest and get the full pull off of everything just to make sure we're not over that maximum 900. I highly doubt it, but again, 120 volts, you get more resistance, so it actually does pull more wattage. And yeah, let's plug this all in, and we'll see it done in a second. Okay, everything is plugged in and ready to go. We got all the Ethernets hooked up. I know this looks like a damn mess, but I can bunch them all together, and I actually need to get a little bit longer ones to do this permanently. I don't know, I might end up turning this entire rack sideways at some point, but I like the fact I can walk through here, because if you guys didn't notice, I took the door off, just kind of chilling there, but I unplugged these 2 units because I want to get this on, get 6 of them up and running, and see what the wattage draw is on the 120 volts for that server PSU. So let's see what we're getting, I guess. Here goes nothing. Okay, that turned on. PSU is fed with power now. There we go. All right. Now we got to wait about 5 minutes until these things boot up at the pool. I believe that's how long it takes. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes, and we are at just under 600 watts. So from the solar setup, right now we're pulling 190 on the 2 that are right here, and then again, almost 600, which is 590 more or less for the other 6. Now let's plug in these 2 and see what the total pull is going to be on this guy, because like I said, it is right here. It says 900 watts max. Probably hard for you guys to see, but it is there. All right, let me plug these in. Okay. All right, and that should do it. About another 5 minutes. These 2 will register, and then, yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Almost forgot, if you guys haven't seen the Veteran Miners KS0 commemorative edition cable to match the commemorative KS0, go check it out. Code CCXD for 10% off. All right, everything seems to be on. It's been about 5 minutes, and we're looking at 775 watts, if that would focus. There you go, and you can see another 190 right there. As of right now, we have 26 volts on the batteries, so that is obviously not fantastic. It is super crappy out right now. We're not really getting much sun. The wattage we're getting from the panels, let's just see real quick. We're getting 75 volts, 0 amps, and only 143 watts as of right now from the panels. Again, I have 2,000 watts of solar panels, so I do need to get more panels, so for rainy days I can actually obviously mine more, but I do need another unit because I maxed this out. I believe that the max you can have on this unit specifically is 1,800 watts of solar panels, and you get like a 10% degradation on the panels itself, so I've never seen over 16 or 1,700, which is pretty much maxing this unit out. So 2,000 watts of panels is actually perfect, but I'm super excited this all works. Everything's going good. As you guys know, like I said, it's less efficient on 120 to have this unit running, so all of those machines would probably be pulling closer to 700 watts total if that was being fed with 240. But anyways, guys, I'm exhausted. This is amazing. Super excited to see what I could do next. Let me know what you guys think about this setup in the comments below. Should I just replace it, or should I get a second one to run in parallel? Let me know. I will catch you guys in a bit. Peace out.